I've been spending a lot of time on my iPad lately.
Oh, really? As if that's new.
Well, like there's some like stuff that I've been working on specifically that is more pen focused and drawing focused.
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, on Sunday, I worked through like 120% of an iPad battery.
Wow.
Like I had to charge it.
That's significant.
I've been doing a lot of iPad stuff,
Apparently.
and I'm just wondering, like, should Apple make a bigger iPad?
I mean, a lot of people have talked about that, right? They've talked about having like a 15-inch, or I mean, how big are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to carry around anything bigger than what I have.
Mm-hmm. This is where a folding situation would be really good.
Yeah, like if I had a 12.5-inch that would just folded, that'd be wild.
Like if it turned into a 24-inch iPad.
But I'm just saying, like, what if it was the equivalent of like a Surface Studio? What if I had a 27-inch iPad?
I mean, that's what everybody always wanted with like the iMac. But I do think the portability, it becomes no longer portable.
Well, I mean, this thing's so thin and so light. Maybe if it was like 24 inches.
But like, how are you going to carry that?
I'm just going to put it on a desk. Just going to set it on a desk.
You're not going to.
It would have to have the matte screen.
You're not going to transport it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I would just have it would be like how like an architect's or like an artist
like
board, like a drafting board.
Yeah.
Be like that.
I can see.
Like
I mean,
you
that's
have
exactly
a built-in
what
like
the
stand or whatever.
It's exactly what the Surface Studio was. So, I mean, I think a lot of people want it, but it's just so niche. I think that's why they haven't done it.
It is very niche.
I feel like once folding stuff, like, I mean, they could now, right? So other companies make folding devices, but if you could have something that was like the size of an 11-inch iPad, but then it unfolded into like a 22-inch iPad, it'd be pretty compelling.
I mean, maybe there's no world for it, but perhaps when Apple ultimately releases those touchscreen Macs, they'll then make a touchscreen monitor, and that's never going to exist. It's never going to exist.
And if it does, it'll be $6,000.
I mean, who is it that makes those like writing board screen things?
Like Wacom?
Yeah, Wacom makes something like this where you have a display that has where you can just like draw on it, and you can kind of like place it in front of your keyboard, kind of thing.
And they make them pretty big too. Like I think you can get like a 14 or 15-inch one at least, but I haven't looked, but I feel like the screen isn't as good as the iPad.
No, I guess something like that would make more sense for a stationary device. But I would like to maybe just be able to, I mean, like within an office environment or home, carry around my 24-inch iPad.
Like what you mean is like you would have it at work, but it would basically only go between like your desk and maybe like take it to a meeting or something.
Sure. Yeah.
But you wouldn't be like throwing it in your bag to take to the coffee shop. Yeah.
Unless it folded in half.
Yeah, if it folded in half.
And then I can bring it to I can do my slide deck on it.
I almost think I'm more interested in a folding iPad than a folding phone, because when I think about having a phone in my pocket, it's like, I guess it'd be cool if my phone could unfold into, like an iPad mini size thing, but my phone doesn't feel like it's so big that it's a problem. And I feel like if it folded into a smaller square, it'd be like, okay, I guess that's cool. But I don't know. Like that doesn't interest me as much as the idea of having something that's small enough to fit in like my Timbuktu bag, but could unfold into some like really nice big screen.
Do you remember the Microsoft Courier concept?
Yeah, that was one where it had two totally independent screens.
Right. And it was essentially a moleskin notebook. Maybe you put the pen like in the middle where the hinge is or something, and it just opens up. They kind of tried to do this with the Surface. What was it?
Surface
The Duo, but never not really quite the same. The concept of the Courier was something that I just always thought would be awesome. And is it Satya Nadella who's the guy in Amazon now?
No, that's he's Microsoft.
He's Microsoft. Who's the guy at Amazon that was at Microsoft?
Well, the current CEO, you're thinking of Panos Panay.
Yeah, Panos Panay, that guy. I'm like, he's over there at Amazon. Like, let's do that, but like with freaking e-ink. Like make like a
Kindle type thing.
I mean, I'm fine with all the foldy stuff that's out there, but I would be totally okay with something that folded and wasn't a continuous screen.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's like still okay.
Mm-hmm.
And a concept of something like the Courier where it, like you fold it and it's like a little book. And like if you're using a Moleskine notebook or something like that, it has a crease in the middle.
Yeah, it works out fine.
It seems fine to me. And so my I would think it would be really cool to have effectively a remarkable, but that freaking folds in half.
That would be pretty cool.
It would be
I mean,
awesome.
it'd be nice for reading even too.
And you
like
don't
I
have
would
to-
love to have a Kindle that folded in half just for reading.
You don't have to like innovate to do that. And if Amazon came out with a Kindle that was effectively that, it's a 10-inch, not 10-inch, how big are those? An 8-inch like Moleskine size notebook that worked with their pen, because they have those Amazon writing tablets now, and you could also just use a book-shaped Kindle.
Uh-huh.
It'd
be fantastic.
By an instant.
Yeah, and
incredible.
Kindles are so cheap. It's like, it feels like for a reasonable-ish price, they could make something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like you just charge double the cost of a Paperwhite and add a little bit for the pen and like have the. I don't know, man. I don't know why that doesn't exist yet. It feels so obvious to me. Maybe it's because I'm the only one that would use it.
Maybe.
But I feel like if I described it to somebody, they would be like, "Yeah, give me a Kindle that shows 2 pages. That sounds amazing."
Yeah, I would love to have it just for reading, and then if you wanted to take notes or something, I could see it being great.
Yep. And something like that would be a perfect augment to my 24-inch iPad.
Yes.
Because then I wouldn't have to carry the iPad around.
Yeah, you have your little tablet and your big tablet.
Yeah, exactly. And probably get a medium-sized tablet just in case.
Just to have more tablets.
Sure.
Yeah. Like once your phone can fold, then you can have like an iPad mini size thing.
Yeah, it's just if everything folded. If my phone folded and my big iPad folded and my Kindle folded, I would, all my problems would be solved.
Your entire life could get to half the size, and then
Exactly.
you could just expand to fill all available space.
Look, my laptop already folds.
It's true.
I just need everything else to fold.
Yeah, exactly like that. And it all can, but just once.
Like the screen on my camera folds out.
Good point.
The world needs to catch up.
Yep. Needs some more hinges.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Camera Gear Podcast. I'm Daniel,
And I'm Lucas.
and we're here today to talk about the gear, software, and techniques we use to shoot photos and video.
We didn't really debrief on this show before we jumped straight into it.
Oh man, sometimes you got to jump in with both feet.
I forgot to tell you how worried I am about what's in this show.
Oh man, we're gonna make it happen.
So
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Doing it live.
off top here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what we've learned, you and I recently, and just this past week, is that Blackmagic subscribes to our Patreon.
They clearly must. It's the only explanation for what has happened here.
I mean, I can't think of any other reason.
Yeah.
Because between us recording our last show, pushing it out on Patreon, and like it comes the next Tuesday, which is today, I guess it came out. But between recording it and Blackmagic pushed a recall for the Pyxis 12K.
Yeah. They heard us complaining last week.
Instantaneous. They were just like, they heard it. Boom. Recall.
I mean, they definitely did. They didn't even finish the episode. They paused it and made a call.
I guarantee that happened.
Yes. Yeah. So we talked last week about Blackmagic, having some issues with the Pyxis 12K, with people getting some weird like banding on the sensor. I think it's like some overheating, some loud fan noise, some weird problems like that. And yeah, it seems like they have decided to recall some of the early production Pyxis 12Ks. And there's kind of some interesting stuff about this. It sounded like there's basically a serial number where, any unit before that serial number, they're basically replacing a sensor board.
So this is the sensor board that we were talking about, how it seemed like they had some variation from a parts supplier that was causing an issue in some cameras and not others. I think they said maybe 10% of cameras were having this issue. And it seems like they've corrected that, but now they have to go back and fix everything.
Yeah.
So anything that was before, like, what was like 142-21337 serial number has a 10% chance of having this board issue. And for cameras that they've already done an RMA, they've fixed, those aren't being recalled. But if you have a camera with that serial number or earlier and haven't sent it back to them, it is recalled.
Yeah, and they said that, so what was interesting about that 10% thing is that they said that, some cameras, show visible artifacts, like the visible banding and stuff. But they also said, like, the reason they're recalling everything is because they said that they've seen, like, measurable improvements on any camera that gets the upgrade.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So it's not, like, that's why they're recalling all of them before this time, because it's like, even if you don't think you have a problem, like, you'll get better performance with the new sensor.
Okay. So that's actually hitting a certain standard that maybe those other sensors weren't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm really happy to see them doing this and fixing those cameras. It does something like this isn't an easy thing to do as a company because of like the cost and effort required and having to deal with all those RMAs and blah blah blah. But
and admitting that there was a problem, it's good.
It's very very difficult. I don't know how many Pyxis 12Ks they've sold up to this point. So I mean, I assume that the numbers started at 1. And so they've...
You think so?
Yeah, they've definitely sold 1.4 million Pyxis 12Ks. Is that? Let me just double check my commas here. 14 million. Yeah, 14 million
right.
Pyxis 12Ks have sold. So
it's definitely like checks. You can't you order checks, and probably half the people listening to this podcast know what I mean, and half don't. But when you order checks, they never start at number 1.
But they start at like 1,001.
Yeah.
So you think that?
I think it started.
Do you think they've sold 337 of them?
No, I think they sold more than that.
1,337. I'm just going to keep moving up digits, Daniel. 21,000.
I could. Yeah, this is kind of interesting to think about, right? I feel like they've probably sold more than 1,000. I don't know if they sold more than 20,000.
The number's sequential because they said anything before this.
No, it is sequential.
So we don't know how they're incrementing and where they started the increment.
Yep.
But they've either sold 221,000, 21,000, or 1,300. Maybe they've only sold 7.
That'd be awkward.
Really easy to recall all 7 of those cameras.
What do you think? Which of those numbers do you think it is?
I think it's 1337. I keep, man, it's Blackmagic, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like with what this is, I don't see them selling 21,000 of these things.
Yeah, it feels like a lot.
Yeah. My guess is 1,300.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, some of the issues didn't necessarily sound like the sensor. Like, people talked about like loud fan noise or something, but maybe it's just that the poor tolerance board generated more heat or something. Maybe that's what it was.
Could be some of that. Yeah.
I'd be curious to see, how much this improves it. But I think for me, it does make me more willing to give it a try. If they've made some sort of tangible change, then, I think it'd be worth giving it a shot.
Yeah. My hope would be that firmware 10 fix the other issues. Some people just may be more sensitive to fan noise.
Yeah.
Or it could be there was a legitimate problem with those cameras. That's not unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
They did add that variable, adjustment to the fan speed in that last firmware update. And they've also, seems like they made some push to correct the shutdown issues or the restart issues. And that seems mostly probably related to firmware as well. So perhaps a firmware 10 Pyxis 12K post this serial number is everything that it was originally cracked up to be.
Yeah. The one frustrating thing about this is, say you wanted to try a Pyxis out. If you were to rent one, how do you know that it has the fixed?
I mean, you just ask them, right? Hey, is this one post recall?
Yeah.
Show me the serial number.
Mm-hmm. Surely they're going. The rental places are going to realize they need to have an answer to that question.
Well, that and I mean, they're going to write down the serial number whenever you go to check it out, so they know you're giving the right camera back.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to look, memorize this number, and be like, you know what? I don't want this one.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yep. I'm out.
Well, It's just a wild series of events.
Yep. It's funny because we had kicked that topic down the road for so long.
Yeah.
And on one hand, if we had waited one more week, would this have happened? But because we're the ones that caused this to happen, obviously.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
We should have talked about it sooner.
If we had talked about it sooner, this would have gotten fixed sooner.
Yeah. Man, all those Pyxis owners out there.
And maybe you wouldn't have bought a S1R2.
Who knows? Nice segue. Yeah. I think you talked me into that. I honestly feel like you talked me into that. I'm really not kidding.
No, it sounds right.
Like, I showed you the deal and I was like, Lucas, this is a super good deal. Because the camera is $3,300 normally. I found it on sale for $2,400 with like a discount I get, plus like they were doing $300 off. So like I found it for $2,400. And honestly, I just showed it to you to be like, Lucas, look how good this deal is. And you just kept going on and on about, I can't believe you haven't gotten that yet.
Two or three comments maximum. Little bit of giving you a hard time. I mostly just didn't tell you no.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
You sent me that link, and then I didn't see it for like 30 minutes. And by the time I saw it, I was like, he's already bought this.
And I honestly was not going to buy it until you started giving me a hard time about it. And I was like, I should probably just buy it.
I mean, it was a really good deal.
It was a really good deal.
Now you just got to sell all those other cameras.
Yeah, I need to sell the GR3X and the XH2S.
You should be able to sell both of those for $2,400.
Depends if I
should.
Depends if I do KEH or private sale.
Sure.
If I do KEH, no. But if I do a private sale, maybe.
That's frustrating.
Yeah. We'll see. I do need to get them sold though, so I'll have to work on
maybe
that.
A little more motivation. Well, Daniel, you got this new S1R2, which some may say it's the better of the two cameras. Some may say it's the first of the two cameras. And by two, I mean the two cameras that Lumix came out last year. But now that you have an S1 and an S1R2, which one's better?
I mean, that's kind of a hard question to answer.
I don't think you can answer that right now. You haven't shot with it enough.
I feel like having both of them opens up a lot for me because, like we do some stuff that's, these big video shoots or, like super video focused things. But then we do other stuff where it's like, oh, I just need to like take pictures at this event or whatever. And so I've always needed to have like it's always been a core thing for me that I need to be able to take my camera in and out of a rig easily. And I feel like now that I have both of those, it does open up an interesting option of like mostly just keeping the S1 II like rigged up for video and being able to like leave it in that configuration and then have the S1R Mark II for like casual video use and for photos, which I feel like is kind of what you do with your XT5 and XH2S.
Pretty much.
And that's a nice feeling being able to do that. It's kind of, so I shot with both of them this weekend. I took both of them to an event because I needed to do both photo and video.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting having two cameras that are, physically identical because it was really nice that all the controls were exactly the same. I just pick one up and I've kind of set them up to where, the buttons do basically the same thing, like where it makes sense to.
On the Fuji, you can back up your settings so that like if you have an X-T3 where it just keeps resetting your settings on you, like every time you accidentally take out the battery and then you have to like load the new settings. Does it have that feature so you can just load your settings from one into the other?
I think it does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does have that. And that's what I should do.
Convenient.
Because, I mean, both cameras have a photo video switch, so like you can have different settings for each mode, which is, what you want to do. Because like obviously in video, you care about different things you do for photo. So, so you can do all that. And yeah, you're right. I should just like set it once and then copy it over. But I got it mostly the same. And that part was really nice. But there were a couple times when I was switching cameras and, luckily I have a cage on the S1 too. So like they did feel a little different because I definitely had once or twice where I had both cameras in front of me and I'm like changing lenses between them and stuff. I'm like, wait, which one's which? Which one do I want right now?
You got to take the gaff tape off of the name of the camera so that you can tell them apart.
But then I won't look cool with having gaff tape on my camera.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You got to black it out.
Yep.
Else will be distracting. Or people will know you're shooting on a Lumix instead of a Nikon.
I will say, taking the pictures, I could notice the higher resolution, especially like taking like a wider angle shot of, like let's say like you're in a room and you want to take like a wide shot that shows like, a large number of people in the room rather than a close up. That is definitely something where the higher megapixel made a difference. Because with the S1 II, I've always had the problem where it's like, well, this wide shot looks really good, but as soon as you start zooming in, like to try and see like a person's face, it just falls apart.
Yeah, having that was like 30-40% extra resolution makes a difference. It gives you a little more to work with.
I felt like I could see the difference, so that was really that was satisfying. And I mean, it kind of makes me want to do more like just taking photos like for fun, because I mean the S1 II I feel like is very much like 50-50 photo video. And I mean, I got it, maybe to be even like more than 50% video, because that's a lot of what I'm interested in. But I do still like taking photos, and it was always kind of a bummer that it's like, well, this is a 24 megapixel camera, which is fine, but it's just like like overall quality didn't feel like a huge upgrade like over the XH2S, whereas the S1R2, like with being full frame and higher megapixel, like it does feel like, okay, this can probably legitimately take, in some scenarios, take higher quality, more detailed pictures than I could get before. And that kind of makes me want to do more with photography.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Have you shot any video with it?
I don't think so. I don't think I did. I need to.
You didn't like whip it out to get some 8K?
No, I should. Do you have to shoot ProRes RAW to shoot 8K, or can you do a compressed codec of that? I actually can't remember. I'll have to look.
I would think that you could do a compressed codec. I'd be surprised if it was limited to RAW.
Yeah, maybe then. But no, I haven't yet. We need to set up a thing where we do both of them side by side, because, I mean, I'm betting since it's the same brand, the colors will match, but, it is a different sensor. So we need to see like how hard it's going to be to match something like an interview shoot.
Yeah, I definitely want to see how close they are. Well, we'll check it out and find out. I bet, like you said, it's going to be pretty close, but it may not be exact. It may just be that the S1R2 looks better.
It could be.
I don't know. It might look a little sharper. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it handles the highlight roll off better because it's basically a cinema camera.
It'd be interesting to try and see. I bought it more for photos, but when we do interviews, we'll probably use it as A and B cam, like it would probably be the B cam or something. And so, it will get video use. And I'll shoot some video clips on it. Like if I'm going to shoot an event or something, if I want to shoot a little video, I'd be more inclined to just use the one camera, rather than bringing both all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like the S1 II is a very, very capable camera. Like
it is.
You could just shoot photos with that, but It's kind of like you can pick based upon your split. Is this going to be more photo, more video, and being able to kind of play to both of those cameras' strengths, plus how they complement each other. It's nice to have a 2-camera setup for a lot of reasons. Yeah. Even if you're just going to go shoot photos and you need to have 2 lenses and you don't want to have to switch.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are setting up, a 2-angle shot, like having 2 cameras. I think these two complement each other really, really well. And it seems like the right ultimate solution for your camera system. And so being able to finally fully divest from Fuji and, finish your journey as much as you can.
Yep. So. For now, at least. Yeah, I like having 2, both to have a backup and because they are kind of optimized for different things. And, having them handle exactly the same, with all the same controls, being able to use all the same lenses. Like, I think there's a reason a lot of professionals have, like two bodies, from the same, like 2 pro bodies of whatever, brand.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's really nice. So
I definitely need to have some extended unsupervised time with these cameras.
You think so?
I gotta test them out, run through their paces.
Yeah. I thought it was funny whenever I let you borrow the GR3X. I think you probably shot more photos with it in the first day than I did in the entire time I had it.
Oh, I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, it just wasn't for me.
Yep. Anyway, I'm excited about it. I'm working on getting my camera rig moved over because
that's right.
Be shooting some video on this weekend. So I'm hoping to get everything set up so that I can use the S1 II like with my V-mount battery and all that stuff.
Are you going to do the same config?
For now, at least. So my camera rig was kind of optimized to be able to take the camera out really easily, and I care a little bit less about that. But it is still a really nice feature, and it doesn't add a lot of bulk or anything, so I'll probably still do that. The only thing I'm doing differently is I'm going to run the camera off of a dummy battery, whereas on the XH2S, I was powering it over USB and basically having it like recharge the internal battery. And the reason I don't want to do that is because it got kind of old having to remember to like charge a battery and, like swap that out, after a shoot or whatever, and I'd rather just not mess with that.
Do you know if those Lumixes are going to pull 8 volt or 12 volt? It's probably 8.
I think it's 8, but you can the dummy battery I got has a DTAP plug.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too. That's an interesting thing with those, specifically the small rig V mounts that you have. The DTAP seems to effectively always be on, and the other taps you can disable and enable using the button on the side of the battery. So if you use the DTAP for the camera power, it effectively makes it so the camera always has juice.
Yeah. Well, and I have a V mount plate on my rig, so the plate has like DTAPs and other stuff on it.
But weren't you having issues with the plate causing some like electronic noise when like USB-C was plugged in, or was that on the battery itself?
That was on the battery itself, and that's one of the reasons I moved to a plate.
Okay.
The plate, I probably need to get a different plate, because the plate I have, the power switch is like a little weird. Like it seems fine once it's on, but it's just not like as satisfying as I like. Like sometimes I feel like I switch it on and it kind of like doesn't come on, which isn't something I want, for like critical use. But I like having a plate like that, because basically you can plug everything into the plate, like all your barrel jacks, DTAPs, whatever, and nothing's plugged into the battery. So when you want to swap your battery out, you're just like pulling the battery off and putting another battery on. You're not like unplugging all these things.
Yeah.
And then the plates usually have a power switch too, so you can like turn everything on and off, kind of together.
Yep.
So
if you DTAP into the side of the battery, then turning the plate off won't turn your camera off.
That's true. Yeah, if you did it that way, then it wouldn't.
Which
so
may or may not be something that you want. I don't know.
Yeah, could be good for the like, especially if I keep using the plate I have, where where the power switch is a little finicky. You may not want the camera to power off. So
sure, could be. Do you think right now your way you have your rig configured? Different people have different thoughts on screen placement. Some people will do like attach it to the top handle so that it's maybe over top and centered. I have mine attached to the front of the top handle, so it's lower. It's not like this super tall thing. It's just lower center of gravity, but it's still on the front. You've kind of set yours up to the side, so it almost looks like a flippy out screen.
Yeah, it's kind of like a camcorder.
Yeah,
like
a little bit.
Like an old school camcorder.
Right. Are you still thus far happy with that configuration, or do you think you're going to explore other options?
I've thought about going to the overhead type thing. And I think having a camera stay in the rig all the time kind of opens up options for that, because there's a little bit less of a need for it. But I also really like the usability of the way I have it, because I can, like, I don't know, I feel like I can tilt and flip that screen, kind of in more directions that are useful for being able to see it. Whereas sometimes when you have it on the top handle, like there can be certain ways you hold the camera where it's just like kind of awkward to see the screen.
Getting an overhead shot makes it pretty much impossible. And if you're mounting the battery on the back for some sort of like mirrorless rig, that gets you basically can't see if you're doing an overhead shot.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of like my setup now, which I actually took some pictures of it. I should post them on the Patreon for people to see. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with what I have for now, but I might explore.
You should move the display to the back of the camera.
That would be like, it'd be interesting to put it like behind the V mount.
That's
I don't know.
Yeah. Move the V mount somewhere.
Oh,
I think you got to get weird with it. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Real weird.
It'd be fun just to experiment with it. So maybe I'll try something different.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yep. I like. I like having the V-mount on there. I like having the whole thing weigh a little bit more. I mean, it gets kind of old carrying around, but at the same time, like you get that extra stability. I feel like it makes the shots, look a little more natural.
But it's you're all Lumix now, man. You don't even need stability.
It's true.
Stability.
It's true.
That's how you say that word.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for you, because I've long been thinking that if you make me buy a Lumix camera, I would have a real hard time picking between the two.
Now you can test them both.
And now I feel like I can get some quality time with both in a way that wasn't possible before.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether or not that was my motivation to force you into buying this or trick you in buying this camera, who knows?
Yeah, that is a question that is left to the listener to determine.
I would never do that to you, Daniel.
Never.
I would never exploit you in that way.
For
camera gear. Come
As
on.
if.
Ugh. Please. Daniel, you ready for this next thing?
I guess so.
I threw this on here a little while ago, and I was like, "Is this what we're talking about? Maybe it's worth talking about."
Maybe.
Apple came out with this Creator Studio thing.
I honestly know very little about this. I saw that they did it, and I mean, I'm guessing it's some type of like combination of their apps. But what exactly did they do here?
Man, I was a little cynical about the whole situation whenever it first came out, because of the apps that they provided, many of which are already free. So you can now buy Apple Creator Studio, which has the same initials as Adobe Creative Cloud. No, it doesn't, because it's the C and the S. But Apple Creator Studio, and they're bundling all of their Pro apps with their Office apps, and then adding the Pixelmator app that they bought, because they bought Pixelmator from the Pixelmator people. We've been waiting to like, when's the other shoe going to drop? Are they going to rename it Aperture? Are they going to ruin it? And what it looks like they're doing is you can get Final Cut Pro, Motion, and Compressor, which you could always buy together for like $200. You're getting Logic and MainStage, which you could always buy together for $200. Unless you're a student, then you can spend $200 and get all of them. Even if you didn't have a student education email. You just go to the education store, Daniel. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, some of us are lifelong students.
Some of us are lifelong students, Daniel. Anyways, and then you also get Keynote, Numbers, Pages, and Freeform.
Now, I know Freeform was free, but the other ones used to be in like an iWork suite. But more recently, have they been free?
To get Keynote, Numbers, and Pages, you have to buy a Mac.
Okay. But you would have to.
But other than that, they just come with the Mac.
Okay.
I think what's happening is like there is some AI functionality that they're bringing to those that is maybe locked under the Creator Studio. So if you want to AI your next Keynote presentation, is it Keynote or Keyed Note?
Keynote.
Like keyed Notes is something else.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Whatever. I guess the AI stuff comes with this.
Yeah.
So essentially, they're taking what was like, here's a $200 standalone thing, here's a $200 standalone thing. I think Pixelmator Pro was like $80 for an unlimited license, or like $10 a month or something. Here's another standalone photo thing. We're gonna bundle all this together, and you can pay $13 a month or $130 a year, or if you're a student, it's like $3 a month and $30 a year.
Okay.
And you just get all these apps, and you can do a free trial, and they're not distinguishing the difference. You can still do one-time purchases. So it's like, here's a new way to pay for all of this.
Yeah.
If you pay the subscription cost for Creator Studio, you get the iPad version of Final Cut and Logic, which were like $5 a month or something. So you're already kind of having to pay.
That is nice.
If you're using those on the iPad and having to pay for them, this effectively just kind of groups everything together. Now you're getting all the apps.
That's nice. What's weird about this, though, is that these subscriptions to me make more sense whenever the alternative is that you buy it and you don't get updates. You know, because like think about the way Adobe used to do it, where it was like you bought Adobe Creative Suite 6 and you got that version, and when the next version came out, you had to pay if you wanted to upgrade.
Right.
But that's not how Apple has ever done these. Like if you buy Logic one time, you get all the Logic updates.
Oh yeah,
same with Final Cut Pro.
I bought Final Cut Pro in 2016, and I have got like awesome. Look at all these updates that I've got.
I bought Logic probably around the same time. We're recording this podcast into Logic right now, like with the latest version. And so that's kind of one downside to this is that, sure, it's only $130 a year for this, but man, if I'm using the software, like I can just buy $200 one time, and I'll get all the updates forever. Like it makes it less of a compelling deal.
Yeah, it's clear that the hardware sales are subsidizing the cost of this software in some way. I, to an extent, feel that by making it a reoccurring charge, there's now maybe a more transactional relationship to it, where me thinking, I bought Final Cut 10 years ago. How long do I have before they say you have to buy it again? versus, hey, I've been paying you $13 a month for a year. Like, where are these cool features? So like maybe it gives them the ability to invest more into these applications because people can be more committed to them.
Yeah. I mean, classic Apple, they're always hurting for money. If there's one thing about Apple, they just don't have enough cash.
True story.
But yeah, I mean, it's true. But that's a double-edged sword, because maybe it does mean that they invest more, but it definitely means people have higher expectations.
So how long do you think before it becomes mandatory subscription? Because you can still buy Pixelmator Pro right now for $50 and you get a lifetime license or whatever for it. I mean, people buy that now. I can't imagine them, go 3 years down the road. Apple's like, oh, now you have to start paying the subscription or you're not going to get updates. That's going to feel a little icky. And I don't know
how long it is. I mean, because I think about as a counterpoint, think about Resolve.
Sure.
Like we've talked on this show before about how like surprising it is that you buy a Resolve one time and just keep getting these like massive updates every year. And I do feel like, I don't remember how long ago you and I bought Resolve. It's been since we started this podcast, but like pretty soon after we started the podcast, so maybe 3 years, something like that. But I mean, we use that software so much. They've added so much to it.
Oh yeah.
That I feel like I wouldn't be mad if they were like, "Hey, you're gonna have to pay again if you want to."
Yeah, if you're making bread off your editing skills.
Well, and if the updates provide value, like if like you're legitimately getting more stuff, which in Resolve you are, then sure, I'm more willing to pay. And so I feel like it's the same here, where it's like, it wouldn't be great if I had to pay to get new things in Final Cut Pro after buying it, but maybe if it was cool enough, it'd be worth it.
I've been wondering, like, how Apple's not really, how many more new customers are they getting for this software? How often is Apple converting people to Final Cut Pro? Or how much are they pulling new YouTubers, new TikTokers into Final Cut Pro? And if you're doing it on your phone or on an iPad, can you do it on a phone? If you're doing like Final Cut on an iPad, you have to pay the subscription. So like maybe they're getting people in on this because they want the mobile versions of the software. But for like you or I, we've already bought Logic and Final Cut. Why would, like, there's no reason to go get this subscription. I would think that there's like a huge chunk of their user base of these softwares that are the people who use them day in and day out. There's no reason for them to switch over and get this subscription.
But at the same time, I mean, sure, maybe it doesn't make sense for people like us, but I mean, there's new people entering the market all the time. Like kids grow up and, oh, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a TikToker, and like they need software.
One day,
maybe they're playing the long play of like, let's be more compelling so that we're getting like the Gen Z kids or whatever,
We'll grow old and die, and our licenses and Apple IDs won't pass down to the next generation.
That's true.
And the next generation will pay $13 a month.
Yes, it is the way of things. Everything will become a subscription.
Ugh. Blah.
I do feel like that's kind of more where this has to be going, is because, you're right. Like, I also have a hard time picturing anybody using the current other options, like somebody who's like a diehard Premiere or Resolve user being like, I think I'm going to go to Final Cut. Like, I'm not saying there aren't any of them, but it's got to be less common. This feels like it has to be more getting people in that are, picking for the first time kind of thing.
Yeah, potentially. I'm trying to get that more appealing. And I think it does make it a bit more approachable if you are trying to get into like Final Cut for the first time or Logic. $200 is a big ask for that software. Like, it's the right price for the software for a one-time purchase. Maybe it's even light for how much you can use and make with it. But if you're just getting into like sound editing, or you're wanting to start a podcast and you don't want to, like, you don't need Logic for a podcast. I mean, they're not really made for it anyway. Or you're like wanting to edit, I mean, you're probably going to lean towards the free version of Resolve over something like Final Cut, and Apple kind of needs to get you in.
Especially like college students and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, if you hear that Final Cut's good and you can do a 7-day free trial and like try this out, and then it's only, for a student, $30 a year, or, $130 a year, I think that's a lot more digestible
Yeah.
from like
I
an
think so, too.
entry cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it makes sense. And the pricing honestly seems pretty fair.
What do you think about them including keynote numbers, pages, and freeform in this?
I don't understand that. Like, it has to be that they have the AI features or something. But I just wonder how many people actually use those applications, because I feel like Google Docs is just the default thing for most people these days.
Sure. I tried using Pages at one point.
Mm.
That's all. To me, I think it was literally they just didn't have enough apps.
Yeah.
That they wanted to have this landing page and be able to say, hey, you can get whatever 10 applications for one price, and they can have these splash pages on the website where they show like a bunch of logos, and it's not like 3 pieces of software. Because I mean, really, like Motion and Compressor are kind of like together with Final Cut, and I look at this and it's like it's 3 apps. It's Logic, it's Final Cut, and it's Pixelmator, and that's it. You're paying for 3 apps, and everything else here doesn't really matter. And I think that it makes it has a little more curb appeal if they can be like, "Whoa, no, you're getting 10 applications."
Yeah. And it kind of, this whole thing kind of feels maybe like Apple trying to restake their claim on Macs being for creative work, because that's always how it used to be. And I think that maybe that edge has faded a little bit in the past few years, and this kind of feels like they're saying like, no, like Macs are for creators, and like that could be part of why they're bringing all this stuff in, because they want, they don't just want creators to be people that are doing artwork type stuff. It's also like, you make PowerPoints, you're a creator.
I don't think this really impacts you much, but I think that it impacts me in so much as I will probably be looking to buy Pixelmator Pro in the near term. I can't get rid of Lightroom because, we do work that requires certain Lightroom presets. But because of my updates to my photo backup workflow, this does not count as me talking about it. I have the option now to edit RAWs in other locations and with using other software before exporting it into my final portfolio library.
Is Pixelmator seeming like it might be the direction you want to go?
I think there's an interesting concept here of using. This gets a little complicated. We can talk about it. Don't talk about it, Lucas. Don't talk about it. I think there's some interesting concepts where you load up RAWs on your iPad, and if you don't want to have to deal with the cloud stuff, like if I load up RAWs on my iPad and put them in Lightroom, and I connect to a Wi-Fi network for 3 seconds, all of a sudden I can't use those until they upload to Lightroom and then create the smart previews and make them on the iPad. Like you can, if you import them into Lightroom, there's no option to say, hey, when you import these into Lightroom, keep them on the iPad, because I'm only connected to a really slow hotel Wi-Fi for like 10 minutes right now, and I can't really upload or download these files, and I would just like to be able to edit them in full resolution right now, so that like when I get back on an airplane, they're there for me to like mess with on the flight home.
What if all of that whole thing you just said was the text of a checkbox in the options?
Like, keep on iPad at import. Like, let me create the album and check keep photos on in like downloaded before I hit import, and then just leave them there.
Yeah. Be perfect.
It's a total disaster. Whereas if I could just load them onto my iPad and then edit them with Pixelmator Pro and save it all in like sidecar files or something, or like sync it to iCloud, and then great. Like I can do it all locally.
Yeah.
If I use different applications. Interesting. Anyways, I kind of want to start doing some of my personal photos in Pixelmator, because I think like the app seemed pretty good, and I like the way it does some of the exposure tools and you do like the anyways whatever. Point is, do I spend $50 on this app to get like a lifetime whatever, or do I need to pay the subscription?
Do you feel like you're a creator? Would you enjoy working
Daniel.
in a creator studio?
I do not self-identify as a creator.
How often do you use numbers?
More than I would care to admit.
I don't know. I sort of fundamentally hate subscriptions, and I think unless it's a thing where they say you're never going to get updates if you buy the one-time license, which they have not said, so they can't do that yet. I would just buy the one time if it was me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe that's what I'll do sooner than later, so I don't get caught out in the cold.
So the obvious other question, I guess, is, Adobe also kind of has a subscription thing. And I think that's something that frustrates people a lot about Lightroom, is that you can basically only get Lightroom as a subscription. How do you think this competes with that?
Well, I mean, I think they've totally, Sherlocked Adobe. And
yeah. If Adobe had, Adobe had called theirs what, the Creative Cloud. Yeah. So do you want to work in a studio or do you want to work in the clouds? I mean, I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, this is half the price of any single application from Adobe.
I do think you can get Lightroom for about this price.
You can get the Lightroom photographer thing for the same price, but that's just Lightroom and a terabyte of cloud storage.
Is that the one that doesn't even include Photoshop?
Does not include Photoshop.
I have whatever the one is, this Lightroom and Photoshop, and I want to say it's about $20 a month.
It's $20 a month, includes Lightroom and Photoshop and a terabyte of cloud storage. I do not have that one.
Yeah.
What's funny is that if you want Photoshop only, you can get it for $23 a month. It's like, I don't know why you would ever pick that one.
And is there, I don't know if you have their pricing open, is their top thing still like about $50 a month? Like if you want
$70 a month if you want all the apps.
Oh,
and
wow.
I mean, there's a lot of apps, Daniel.
It is.
It's like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Lightroom, Firefly, Premiere Pro, After Effects, Rush, Creator Animator, Media Cloud, Dreamweaver, Adobe, Acrobat, Encopy, Bridge, Story. There's all this stuff.
Yeah.
You get all this stuff.
Yep.
It's like so much stuff.
And I mean, the other piece of this with both offerings is that if you're a business, the monthly subscription is a much easier sell.
Yep.
Like budget wise, it's a lot easier to say, let's pay, we can just budget for $70 a month. Whereas we want to do this one-time purchase. All of a sudden it's like, well, how often do we need updates for that? Like, are we going to have to plan for that every year? It just gets confusing. So
I think Adobe's just so much of a different thing. I don't even think that they blink at this. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's so much cheaper, but also it's way less applications. And I think that Adobe fancies themselves as more professional.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, this isn't, maybe Apple will come out with a Creator Studio Pro.
No, man, it'd be called Creative Studio Max.
Well, that would be, they'd have both.
Oh, you're right.
Right?
You're right. They have Creative Studio Pro Max.
Well, they'd have all three. Creative Studio Pro, Creative Studio Max, Creative Studio Pro Max, Creative
There obviously
Studio
has to be
Ultra.
a Creative Studio Plus.
Well, it's already a subscription.
True.
Anyways, all I'm saying is that Creative Studio Pro is $65 a month, slightly undercutting Adobe, and includes more made-up applications that are already free.
That includes Apple Notes.
Yeah, it's got Apple Notes in it
reminders.
for sure. Definitely reminders. The clock app.
Yeah. Calculator on the iPad.
Oh yeah, definitely. Calculator on the iPad's a really good one.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
A lot of options there. Yeah,
Sure.
I kind of agree. I feel like the Adobe. I mean, the Adobe stuff is more powerful in a lot of ways than what Apple offers here, and I think that's fine. I mean, I think some people don't need all that. I mean, we've used Final Cut Pro before. Like I said, I still use Logic. I don't want to use Adobe Audition. But on the other hand, I use Lightroom, and like I'm happy with Lightroom. So like it's nice to have these options. Like I'm glad I can pick between them. But
yeah,
I kind of agree. I don't really feel like they directly compete.
No, not so much. So the answer to does this put Adobe on notice is no.
Not at all.
If I was more into these applications and you needed to use them on my iPad, I would consider paying for this, like get all of it. Like if I was doing more personal video editing, which I can imagine myself doing, like but you can't bidirectionally sync projects from Final Cut on the iPad to the Mac and back.
So it's a one way, right?
Correct. If they add that, they add bidirectional sync for Final Cut on the iPad, I would be pretty interested in like, okay, I can use like Final Cut Camera
for sure,
Final Cut on my iPad and Logic, and maybe I can now like do some of my own little fun projects that are separate.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I also get Pixelmator. Like, okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's a workflow because it's like iPad centric.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I don't know. Maybe good for some people. Good for new people to the ecosystem.
Yeah. New creators.
There you go, new creators.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, man, we did more on that than I thought we could possibly do, Daniel.
Yeah, we're on a roll today.
People are gonna have to skip a lot to get past that Creator Studio part.
Oh man. All right, let's take a break for a moment, then we'll talk about this last topic.
Cool.
If you'd like to support the Camera Gear podcast, you can subscribe to us on Patreon. It's only $3 a month, and you'll get early access to episodes, longer pre-shows, and occasional bonus content like written reviews of gear or maybe some photos we've taken on one of our recent adventures. This really does help us pay the bills and keeps this show running, and we'd love to have your support. You can find out more at patreon.com/cameragearpodcast, or there's also a link in the description for this episode. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show.
Danielle, this is one of those topics where we were like, oh, we should add this to the whatever. And I finally added it and we're finally talking about it. I tried to do a deep dive on this because I wanted it to be deep. And boy, I don't think there was much to this. Either way.
You dug deep and it wasn't very far down.
And it wasn't very far down. We got to the total bottom. Not really. Do you remember the Google Clips camera?
It's not something that I dwell on, but whenever you mentioned it, whenever that was, it came back to my memory, and I remember making so much fun of it whenever it was announced.
It reminds me of, do you remember those iPod shuffles that were literally clips? And you could like clip them to your shirt or clip them to like a wristband?
Now, was that the one? It wasn't the one. There was one they made that was like literally the size of a stick of gum, and it didn't have buttons on it.
It had buttons on it because I had that one.
Oh,
no.
There was one.
They made one that was even smaller.
Yeah, because there was one that didn't have buttons, and you had to use like on the earphones.
Yeah, the headphones had their own like buttons. That was a disaster.
Are you talking about the iPod Shuffle? I guess you are. That had the clip because they've at one point they also made an iPod Nano that had a little screen. And that one also had a kind of a similar deal, but I think you do mean a shuffle, maybe.
Yeah, it was a shuffle because it had physical buttons on it, but it was like a chip bag clip.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh man,
this kind of had a similar form factor.
Yeah, similar form factor where it was like it wasn't really like I don't remember how this thing stood up. I don't think it was an actual clip.
Mm-hmm.
But it was this little...
Like a little kickstand,
it was
maybe?
clip in the sense that it shot little tiny clips.
Oh,
but
okay.
Like the way that it was like a square, and then the back of it had this... It was like a little bit of like kind of like a clip, but you can't like squeeze it open.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of... I don't know how to describe it, but you could, secure it to something by like bending out this tab, and then it would pinch close on it. So...
Okay.
But you could also use that as a stand. Mm-hmm. So it could set up and shoot just like full horizontal, or you could like literally clip it to something, sort of. And it was just like this ambient camera thing.
And wasn't that kind of the idea of it? Like, just trust us, bro. Just like put this in your house somewhere, have it watch every move, and it's going to use AI to figure out when it should film. Until
I started looking into this week, up to this point, I thought it automatically uploaded the photos. I thought that like you set up this clips thing in your like living room or something, and it just takes pictures when it thinks is appropriate, and then they show up in your Google Photos.
Oh,
that's what I thought this was. It has no connection to the internet.
Really? Okay.
And which now that I know that, I'm maybe a little more interested.
Yeah, because you're not gonna invite people over and have your album playing on the TV, and who knows what that thing is showing.
Like I won't even put a security camera in my house. I just don't want cameras other than my phone and all the cameras that I own.
Yep. I mean, sometimes you're walking around your house in a state where you don't want people to see you.
Sometimes that happens. But anyways, this thing released in 2018. It was discontinued in 2019.
Classic classic like late, 20 teens Google.
It
In
lasted
terms of how long it was alive.
it lasted longer than that Nexus Q thing.
I don't remember what that was.
Oh, you don't remember that one? The Nexus Q was this. Oh my gosh! It was like some sort of audio interface thing that they made, and you had like a bunch of. Let me like look this up. Nexus Q, Google. You had like audio ports on the back of it, and it was like kind of worked as a receiver or something. It was this music device, and they announced it. They handed it out to some hardware reviewers, and then they killed it.
Weird.
And it never like really, really shipped.
I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of this thing? It's like the most wild
Released
looking.
in June 27th, 2012.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was like $300 or whatever, and it was this like audiophile, like 25 watt like amplifier thing, and it had like Wi-Fi connection and like 4 audio jacks on it, and like I don't know, maybe competes with a Sonos or something, like a Sonos bar. It was ridiculous.
You wonder how this stuff happens, but I mean, I feel like Google back then just kind of had an excess of money and a willingness to just throw things at the wall and see what stuck.
Like the Q never made it.
Yeah.
The clip lasted much longer
was
than
at least
the Q.
buyable for a year.
Right, you could buy it. I mean, they ended support for it in 2021.
So
like it was good for
about 3 years.
3 years, and then that was it. But the concept here was that it would shoot 15 frames per second photos, and then it could combine those into a video clip if you wanted.
Okay.
Or you would have the 15 photos and would use like onboard AI, which nowadays you'd be like, yeah, sure, AI. 2018,
A little more impressive.
you may have thought it was machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it was AI the whole time.
But I wonder how well that worked. Like,
it was terrible. It was like really bad. It was never the image that you wanted, and it just like super didn't really work quite right. And you had to like connect it to your phone to take the photos off, and like pick the ones you wanted, and you could share them or whatever. And so like nice that it was air gapped, but also like the camera wasn't that good. It was a 130-degree wide angle camera that you kind of had to like set up ahead of time and then like hope it takes the right pictures for you. And it's like, if I'm setting up a camera that I want to be able to like shoot photos, maybe I'll just like put up a video camera and pull screen grabs, because it's probably going to be a better thing.
And
maybe I just want to shoot the pictures I want.
And it's like for a particular thing. Like if you want to say, the kids are going to be opening presents on Christmas morning, like we'll get some cool, fun clips or fun shots. At that point, yeah, it's like you just set up a video camera and then grab the stuff later.
Sure.
This, yeah, it's like, what is the situation where, like, do you put this in like the kids' playroom or something? Like, where are you putting it to where you're gonna get like the spontaneous cool stuff?
Yeah. So like on the face of it, I mean, that's the summary, right? It was bad photos. It's like 15 frames per second video if you wanted it. It had low storage. It was $250. The AI didn't work, and it was discontinued almost immediately. I think the concept of this with today's technologies would actually be like really, really appealing.
Yeah.
I think that.
So you think it's like too early?
It was too early. I think that, you use Frigate and has like the AI whatever is for detection, and like we have security camera stuff. The security camera detection algorithms have gotten pretty stinking good. And like they're as good now as like, oh, that's 80% a dog or whatever.
Yep.
And I think that, if you could take those, and those things can run standalone on hardware too. Like I think now if you could afford the RAM, it would be much more feasible to run locally some image detection model that would have a significantly higher hit rate on image capture.
Yeah.
And you could get a much better camera. Like if the camera was as good as an iPhone 15 or something. Like Google, like this was before the Pyxis 1, right?
Pixel 1?
Pixel 1. Pyxis is the other thing.
That would be a Blackmagic camera.
Pixel 1 release date. 2016. Okay, no, guess not. Either way, like with the computational photography stuff that they're doing, like and shooting a bunch of photos, I think that something like this could be a lot better now. And I honestly think maybe it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's situations where like you just want to have photos, but you don't want to have to deal with taking the pictures. I mean, that I feel like for me that comes up like often enough.
But like, what's a situation where you'd use it?
I mean, any like holiday or get together or whatever,
like a
party, or maybe in situations where I would want to use like an Insta 360, like maybe like a bike ride or a race or like something where you would want to bring an action camera with you, but you don't just want to do 10 hours of video.
Yeah.
But you want to like maybe capture some moments. If you could take something like this little AI camera and just kind of point it, like that would be cool.
But do you want it to be stationary or do you want it to be like a body cam situation?
Well, that's kind of one of my questions here was like, is this something that we see come back in the form of glasses?
Yeah.
It's like you got like that Ray-Ban, whatever AI glasses things, and I'm not sure how much everyone would
Man,
like.
a lot of people seem creeped out by that though.
A little bit.
Like I've seen videos online where people find out that somebody's wearing those and like they get pretty upset, and I kind of understand it. It feels invasive to people if they don't know they're being recorded.
Yeah, I can definitely respect that. But you're not recording them. You don't even know you're taking pictures.
Yeah, nobody knows.
How do you think that would go? They're like, are you taking pictures of me? And you're like, I don't know.
Could be.
No idea. I don't know. You doing something sketchy?
Is there a reason you don't want me to take pictures of you?
My glasses are programmed to only take pictures of dummies. Do you think it's taking your picture right now?
I don't know if that would help the situation. Yeah. It's one of those things that like that kind of use case sounds really appealing, but it feels like socially there's so many problems with it that it's hard to imagine it actually happening.
Well, I don't think like I would use it for street photography.
But you mean more like a party with your friends or something?
Well, like, I mean, maybe like it, I wouldn't say it's a solution to like a dash cam for a bike, but running the races that I do. Like, oh, I'm going to go run a half Ironman or a marathon or whatever. I think it would be cool to have photos from that.
Yeah.
Like maybe more like photos of me. And like they do like the photos of, whatever, but like the people on the sidelines that you can buy, but you're like busy running. You're not going to like take pictures. But if I could like clip this, I don't know, to my forehead or something stupid and like just have it like take photos
or like a 15-second clip of like a certain part of the run.
Sure, right. And like use the AI stuff to kind of detect when things are happening. And then maybe it picks up all the key moments and like have something to remember it by.
Yeah, like it gets like the video clip of you being offered like a fireball shot.
Sure, yeah, and you just hitting it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Be sad if I missed it.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I can see it being cool, but it still feels like super niche to me.
Yeah,
like because when I think about it compared to an action cam, it feels like even more niche than an action cam, which is already like kind of.
Well, I mean, like clearly this just was a total flop, right? I mean, if it was successful, we would have version 8 right now that was like
Google Clips 8.
Yeah, and it's like super good or whatever, and it's like using modern AI. I think it was too early. I think that something like this could actually be successful now, especially with all the hype around AI stuff.
I also think people are way more open to having cameras in their house than we are.
Oh, for sure.
In the sense of like, oh, like Ring makes security cameras that, go inside your house. And like a lot of people are just like totally fine with that. And so, even if it was connected to the internet and uploaded to some private album or something, I feel like a lot of people would not be fazed by that. If
something like this came back, do you think that it would need to be like 100% local, kind of like this one was? Or do you think there's just an expectation of it being connected to the internet?
That's kind of what I'm saying. I think people would want it to be like end-to-end encrypted or whatever, where like it's a private album that only they can view and, they decide which ones to keep or whatever. But
would it be instantly available on your phone? Like you would just get like a notification that says, hey, you have new clips to view.
I think that's what it would have to do. Like it kind of surprises me that this wasn't made that way because it feels like that kills the process if you're having to like, plug it into your phone or whatever to offload stuff.
Well, I think that was just a bit of an indictment of the time. I think people were less interested in having some sort of internet connected camera just in their home.
That's probably true.
We've been worn down.
I'm sure stuff like battery life was a concern too.
Oh yeah, I mean I think you could get 3 hours of use on this thing. So it wasn't something you just like leave up all the time. You had to like charge it, take it out with the intention of, okay, this is gonna be available for up to 3 hours for clips, and then take the things
I'd almost
off.
rather it be hardwired, like put it in the kids' playroom, just have it on all the time. Like, how if you know people who have kids in daycare, a lot of daycares now, some have like a live webcam, but almost all of them have like some app or something. And throughout the day, you'll get like pictures uploaded of your kid at daycare, like, oh, look, he's
Wild.
like, coloring something, or like we did like this activity, and like, so the parents can like see what the kids are doing, which is kind of cool. And, you could imagine, like, if something like this existed, if you just, like, plugged it into the wall where it was available all the time, you could have it, like, in your kid's playroom at home. And, like, if the babysitter's there, or, even if it's just, like, the evening and, like, your spouse is playing with the kids and you're doing whatever, I could see it just, like, taking some pictures here and there and, like, putting them in an album, and then you have all these memories you don't have to take. Like, that does sound compelling.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a lot better if it was uploading to some kind of private album, and if you didn't have to worry about the battery life, so that you could just leave it set up like all the time.
With modern batteries, it would just be like really good. Corporate marketing. Anytime your company has an event, just like pop this thing.
Yeah, that's true. If you had like a happy hour at work or something.
Sure.
Yeah,
maybe not a happy hour.
Depends on the company. If you work at a software company, definitely a happy hour at work.
I was just mean like, maybe you don't want it there at a happy hour.
You don't want all the red Solo cups.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I think that I'm surprised that this hasn't come back. It has been 8 years since we saw the Google Clips, and it was such a dumpster fire, trash heap of a product. It's like no one has ventured back down this road in a really interesting way.
I'm not surprised that Google hasn't done it. But it is surprising that somebody else hasn't. It
is surprising, especially with how many AI gadgets we're getting right now. Of just like, here's a pen that listens to you all the time and uploads all of your audio to some server somewhere.
Yep.
I mean,
or things like the Humane AI pen. Remember that had a camera on it.
Well, that was also clip shaped, had a camera on it, and totally failed within a year. Maybe anything that's clip shaped and has a camera on it is doomed for failure.
Could be.
Maybe that's the problem, Daniel.
It's a form factor issue.
It's a form factor issue. Yeah, exactly. It has to be shaped like glasses.
I feel like the company I could imagine doing this is Amazon, and like specifically like the Ring subsidy.
Yep.
Did you hear about the thing with the dogs?
What? No.
The Ring thing with the dogs.
What happened to the Ring dogs?
They this is pretty fresh news, but they announced a thing where basically, like, if your dog gets lost, like, if your dog gets out of the house in the neighborhood, you can like put out an alert, and it'll like network all the Ring cameras like in your neighborhood, and like the AI will watch for that dog, and if it sees it, then it will notify the owner, and the owner can decide whether they want to like share that clip with you. So like the ideal behind this is that like your dog gets out, everybody's Ring camera is watching for your dog, and then like people are reporting like, oh, he's here, whatever, and you can go find your dog. Sounds super cool. Also super creepy.
Oh boy.
There's been a little bit of a backlash from it because people are like, did they just like soft launch the surveillance state? Being like, yeah, like, so actually like all these Ring cameras you've installed, we can just network all of them and use AI to find things. People are like, it's cute when you do it with a dog, not so cute in a lot of other cases.
That's exactly the sentiment. It's cute when you do it for a dog. I've lived in a neighborhood where they put up those, maybe this is a controversial opinion, those stupid flock cameras.
A lot of people are upset about those too.
That don't do anything but like record license plates that they put in a database and then no one has access to.
Yep. They're just watching.
Waste of just stupidest. I sent them. Anyways, whatever.
Yep. All that to say, I could see Amazon doing this because they've got the hardware. They have the willingness to do creepy things.
It feels like
it seems
sometimes those software developers are just in a vacuum. Because I could see like how you get there, where it's like, oh wow, this is a great feature, blah blah, and then just like, all right, let's put it together.
Some of it,
roll
probably,
it out.
I mean, it probably came from a good place too. You know, a bit, you know, look at this. Like, I mean, because in the ideal case, it is like a really like heartwarming thing to be able to do. But there's just like so many ways you can use that.
You need to take those ideas, and before you even develop them, get someone who's not in your little development circle to just like give you a critical eye. Like, hey, can I get someone else to look at this for me real quick? Oh yeah, no, I didn't think about that at all. well, thank you for helping getting me back on track. Ugh. Yeah, so yeah, Amazon could do this.
Yes.
Maybe that's the answer. Is Amazon brings back the clips, and then they're the ones who can be shot down by the internet.
And it's just like I really do think this product was probably too early. Because, like, technically, I think, in terms of, like, its specs, I think it would have succeeded a lot more now than it did then, and I'm still just not sure if the general public wants this or not.
I think it's something that could be really cool, but based upon the failure of all of these form factors, it's in, like, maybe we're just not ready for something like this.
Yeah, like constant recording. Like, people are still kind of weird about that.
Like, I don't want it to be like, okay, now they can network with this Clips camera that I bought. Yeah. Like, I would much rather be air gapped or be like only go to my library and like, I don't know. I just don't trust the big companies quite enough for it to never turn into surveillance state situation.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's like there is maybe opportunity here where for those of us who are always behind the camera, like it would be nice to have pictures where you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Like be in some of the pictures.
Sure. And maybe this was the answer just before its time and in a form factor that just didn't work.
Could be.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Your story about the dog reminds me of something, and maybe we can end on this, which is super not camera related, but
what do you got?
I've been meaning to tell you about this, and I just keep forgetting. So I bought 5 collars for my dogs, so we can just see where they are when they're running around on the property. And
I feel like you've been pretty unimpressed.
Man, I am not going to renew my subscription on those collars because like you download the app and they're like, you got to have background activity on, and this needs to be able to track your phone location because you got it for your dog, but it needs to be able to track your location on your phone 24/7. And if you turn off location, it disables the app. And you can't even open the app unless you turn on.
Why do they need that?
Continuous location. They need it because it is too expensive, whether it be money or computational or battery, for the dog collar to use its GPS and its cell chip to report the location. And so it falls back to they have these little the chargers that you put in are like little network hubs. And if the collar's within some proximity of your Wi-Fi network, if it's near your Wi-Fi network, it knows the hubs are on there. And so it's like, dog's home. Yeah. Anytime it's on Wi-Fi.
Which is a problem if you have a large property with expansive Wi-Fi network.
Or if you've turned your network up to annoy your neighbors because they're encroaching on your airspace and you're just going to overpower them because you have a ubiquity system. Either way. But like, basically your dogs have to leave the Wi-Fi network for it to actually track their location. And what they want is to not have to do that. And so if you like a normal person who has a dog in a house, they take the dog for a walk. Yeah.
They want to know that your phone is near the dog.
Yeah. They're like, if your phone is near the dog, it tracks your phone's location, not the dog's location. Yeah. And so it's like,
and it's clever. It's clever that they solve the problem in that way, but it's kind of annoying for how you want to use it.
So they sell these collars that are like 3 weeks of battery life. And it's because the collar doesn't do anything but track your dog's steps. Yeah. It's like a Fitbit for your dog. And like, I don't care about the Fitbit dog. I just want to know where my dog is so they get out or whatever. Yeah. And like,
and when you want it for that case, you want it to be like always tracking, and you want it to like trigger as soon as the dog gets out of your yard, not as soon as they get off your Wi-Fi network.
It'll geo trigger. Like they just have to be like outside of the Wi-Fi for a certain amount of time for it to then like make a connection to then like update the thing. It's slow to do it. And I found like the whole thing really annoying. And then my wife took our dog to the vet. And when she got to the vet, she got a fine notification that said, hey, we noticed that you're at the vet with your dog. Do you want to update your dog's health information, that this is your vet, so we can keep track of all that information too? Oh, creepy. And I was like, what? That was like one step too far. Yeah. I'm like, not okay with everything up to that point, but like dealing with it because I paid for 6 months of using these collars. And then it's like they're forcing you to turn your location on, and then now they're tracking to know which vets you go to and which pet stores you go to with your dog.
Yeah, what do you think they're doing with that data?
They're using it to sell you freaking ads and like products and like whatever.
I mean, there's why stop there? Like they can see where you go to. Like maybe you go to like a fast food place and they're like, you sure you want to eat that?
Sure.
You want some coupons?
I mean, that hasn't happened yet. Like it's only doing those things when it's like you leave the house with the collar, as in like you are taking this dog to this place.
Yeah.
But like that notification was like I was already not going to renew it, but boy, that was like one step too far.
Yeah.
And I wish there was like a less creepy way to just know where my dog is. I'm not happy with how Fi conducts their whole like ecosystem.
Yeah, you see that with so many of these companies now. It's just like everything's as invasive as possible, and there's always kind of like, well, you can see how those things could be good features, and it's never really clear like how much of that is evil on their part and how much is like
lazy software development.
Well, I wasn't going to say lazy. Like I was going to say like naive or tone deaf, but I don't know. I tend to think toward like it's all evil, and that they don't build these features unless they're thinking about like, well, we can market in this way and, we can use that to sell, whatever. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that where it just feels like things are getting creepier and creepier.
Well, I get with the collar that like it makes sense that, if they want it to last for a long time and enable all these features, it's like lean on the health stuff because we know location tracking is like iffy.
Yeah.
And we just like get people interested in that. And then if we can fall back on all these other devices, then the collar will work better because we never actually have to use the GPS function of the collar. And like I get that it makes it maybe more viable, but it also makes the project feel icky to me.
Yeah.
Like they're like, buy this thing, and the promise was a GPS tracker for your dog, and what you're getting is they're just tracking you. Yeah. And that's it. And it's like your dog's with you 90% of the time. So if we just track you, you'll know where your dog is. Yeah. And I'm like, that's not the value proposition that I was buying here. And it's like, I'm not comfortable trading that much privacy for what this is. And it's like, so often we have to trade our privacy for products. I mean, that's Google's whole freaking thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been Google's thing for a long time.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
So that's I'm mean to tell you about that. And I guess we're just talking about it here. But that's what the Amazon thing reminded me of. It's like, it's kind of like the same thing where it's, you're buying these products and these services, and then it's like, well, what are they going to eventually do for that makes sense for them to make more money?
Yep. And yet you're still interested in some sort of modern Google Clips equivalent.
I mean, if it was air gapped, if it wasn't air gapped, maybe I'd be a little less interested.
Yeah. Air gap or bust.
Air gap or bust.
That's it for the show today. Thanks for joining us. And if you liked it, tell a friend so they can check it out too. You can find out more about the show at www.cameragearpodcast.com. And you can find us on Twitter @CameraGearPod. We'll be back with more next week.